Alright, welcome. This is Nuke Marine presenting Let's Read Japanese, course series for the reading of Japanese text alongside its audio counterpart. Today's episode is going to be the season 4 of Shinya Shokudo, or Midnight Diner. And these are also, technically it's actually Shinya Shokudo Tokyo Stories or Tokyo Monogatari. These are the two seasons. Seasons 4 and 5 are actually seasons 1 and 2 of Tokyo Stories on Netflix. They were made specifically for Netflix. The other bit is going to be with this particular Let's Read is I'm going to be having audio play what's called the audio description. So if you're hearing in Japanese, it's probably a text-to-speech voice, but basically someone narrating or saying what's happening in the scene. And again, it's meant for people who are visually impaired, but there is a benefit where if you're watching this as learning Japanese, you get to basically hear stuff that's not normally spoken in Japanese. It's normally stuff you would read in Japanese, since it's describing a scene. So it's not something people normally talk about or in normal conversations, or average conversations, sorry, probably be the way to say it. Okay, so with that said, let me get the introduction. Let me get into the YouTube introduction. So for those of you on YouTube, if you're watching this video, remember to give it if you enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up. You consider leaving a comment. Feedback's always welcome. Uh, if you like the series, and you'd like to see more like this, and you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because I plan to do more like this in the future. Till I'm shut down, sure. Finally, this is all part of the Let's Learn Japanese project. So if you appreciate what I'm doing to help the Japanese learning community, and you'd like to support that in some way, one way is via the Patreon. So the link to that is below if you'd like to become a patron, as well as there's links to the community Discord and the Let's Learn Japanese website that Otaku Dave put together. Finally, if you'd like to hire my commission, technical assistance advice, usually this is it's not necessarily tutoring, it's sort of tutoring in a way, in that one-on-one, you and me, and I kind of basically walk you through the steps, help set up with Anki and utilizing these resources that I've discussed, getting them set up, basically going through the difficulties that come with trying to start up something new that you're not familiar with, kind of get through those steps real fast. So if you'd like to do that, then the hourly rates and the payments are also via the Patreon, but a specific link to that is in the description below as well. All right. Since this is the start of a new season, what I like to do every 10 or 12 episodes, either halfway into a season or the start of a new season, depending on how, roughly about 10 to 12 videos, is get into a more detailed description as to what I'm doing. So this is called Let's Read Japanese. All right, so we got to have something to read, so that's what we have here. Now, normally, off to the side, this text is either rips from the subtitles that are then put in a text format or in a more of a page format, instead of sentence by sentence, or it could actually be from an actual book, digital book that's being displayed. So we can read anything there. Cool. Now, as I'm reading along, up above is going to be the audio I play, and I'm going to read along to the audio. This has immediate benefits. Even in your native language, if you read along to audio, your ability to comprehend and retain information is at a much higher level. I'm not sure the science of it. It's just personal experience I've had. I've heard it from other people as well. So is that. Now, that applies also when you're doing it with the second language. Reading along to audio is just easier to, for some reasons, for me, it's easier to understand. Either if you're reading stronger, then there's a benefit there. If you're listening stronger, there's a benefit there. In other words, you're not limited by which one of those are the weaker, so you get to bring the two together, make it kind of like, trying to look with both eyes open. If one eye is weaker than the other, but your vision with both eyes open is better, if that makes sense. Cool. Now, the other benefit's going to be is I hear how natives would pronounce a word. So it's not like what I would think this is pronounced in my head, it's how the narrator is pronouncing it. So I get to see a word and hear how a native Japanese person pronounces that Japanese word. Very big benefit. If you've ever listened to someone who's utilizing their non-native language, but it's your native language, you notice mistakes. It sounds like they're probably pronouncing it as they think it should be pronounced because they've only heard it they've only seen it in books, or so the only time they hear it is when they were pronouncing it in their head. So when they finally pronounce it for real, it stands out. It's very hard to fix those. So anyway, so you're hearing native pronunciation of your audio. The other benefit's going to be, see a word you don't know, you can hover over it. Now I can have a Japanese definition I can use to try to figure out from there. Simple words are actually have very difficult definitions because they're like they have many different meanings or utilizations, like kyaku. But here you can also use the Japanese English dictionary and get a straightforward translation of the word as well. Why I do this? Um, let's say in that sentence that was the only word I didn't know, or there's like 2 or 3 words I don't know. All right. With that, I don't understand what the sentence is talking about. But by looking at that one word, I now understand what the sentence is talking about. And if I do that sentence, which I don't understand, and then make them understandable, then the entire conversation becomes much more comprehensible as a whole. And as the conversation becomes more comprehensible, then the story as a whole becomes more comprehensible. So it adds more time because, I'm again pausing the audio and looking up. I'm not trying to look it up while, again, the story is still going on. I pause and try to figure out, like you do if people who read this quite a bit. They see a word they don't know, they look it up, then they go back to reading. Simple as that. Um, what this does is allows you to punch above your weight class as far as what material you consume. Usually, a common question is, "Hey, what is readers or booklets or Japanese readers that is at my level?" They give them. It doesn't matter. It's like it doesn't matter the level as long as you're above the equivalent of M4. You got about 2,000 words under your belt. You can do something like this. And yeah, you have to look up a lot more words. Okay, but that's just but you're still reading native material, and hopefully it's native material that's fun to read. So that's the benefit there as well. Um, as you get better in Japanese, you look up less words, so your reading gets faster. I will say now, I don't know, I'm not keep track of the benefit numbers. The other benefit is going to be after you're done doing this. Let's say you've read for it takes you about an hour to get through however much material. Let's say you first start off and it takes you, your first 5 to 10 minutes of the show took you an hour to get through. Well, then pause the reading for a little bit and go and rewatch that 5 to 10 minutes of the video and be impressed with how much of your comprehension of that video has become. How it's just at a much higher level because you spent the last hour basically studying those 5 to 10 minutes of Japanese audio. And then the next hour reading, you add another 5 to 10 minutes. Next hour reading, add another 5 to 10 minutes. And then by the end of the time, you've had an hour, 40 minutes to an hour of Japanese audio. So you have a higher level of comprehension than any other hour of Japanese audio out there. And the benefit now is rewatch it again as a whole. Rewatch the entire show, and you find out the entire show is more the entire episode that entire episode's now more comprehensible. And then maybe play it on loops, and now you've got background audio that's a little more comprehensible for the next day. Don't try to do it for more than a day though of that one episode. Um, there's some other benefits later on, like I've discussed. I've taken these dramas and put them into Anki and Morphman and actually done sentence mining from them, and then that makes the dramas more comprehensible when I go back and watch it. Now it's added even more higher level of comprehension for when I do a reread, if ever. So again, that's the benefit of what Let's Read brings to the table. Okay, so with that long introduction, and again, I don't do long introductions every episode, but every once in a while I like to sit and say, hey, here's what reading brings to the table. And it's this. And don't fall for, if you hear complaints about this, they'll say, oh, I'm pausing the video. I'm not, it's not a let's watch Japanese. I'm not watching the video up there. All right. It's there as, I've got the subtitles in a large text font, large font. So it's like, okay, you get to see the sentence if you like reading it that way, or off to the side where it's at. Plus the other benefit is that particular video viewer is the language reactor, learn languages with Netflix. It allows me to skip around the videos based on the subtitles. Okay, I think we're done there. Okay. All right, so with that said, we are on season 4. This is episode technically 31 if you want to talk about it as maybe even 41, depending on how you want to look at it. Because I had like five videos per each of the 2 movies. So it was 10 videos there. So if you treated the 2 movies as its own series, that's where. Let me turn on the TV. Sorry. Usually I don't have it up that loud. All right. So with that said, let's get started. Earpiece. All right, if you're watching this live, hey, feel free to come. By the way, I'll mention I tried to do this yesterday. The internet kept dropping out, so I just said, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna redo the video. All right, so we're roughly about 10 minutes in. I'm expecting this to take about 30, 40 minutes, maybe a little longer, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Try to get 2 videos done today as far as Twitch is concerned.
白い背景から浮かび上がる赤いロゴ、ネットフリックス。
ネットフリックス。
ネットフリックスオリジナル作品。
オリジナル作品。Now, once the music starts, I'm going to skip forward to the master's description because they don't talk over.
新宿の夜景。
夜景。
大ガードの下をすり抜けていく一台のタクシー。靖国通りを進むと活気づく歌舞伎町の明かりが目の前に広がる。
一日が終わり、人々が家路へと急ぐ頃、俺の一日は始まる。
路地裏の飲み屋街に佇む小さな店、飯屋。開店前、左目に傷跡が残るマスターが豚汁の仕込みにかかる。ごま油をひいた鍋で豚バラ肉を炒める。根菜類などの具材を加えてさらに炒めると、だし汁を注ぎ味噌を溶く。
営業時間は夜12時から朝7時頃まで。人は深夜食堂って言ってるよ。
豚汁定食と酒類。
豚汁定食。
メニューはこれだけ。あとは勝手に注文してくれりゃできるもんなら作るよってのが俺の営業方針さ。
マスターが飯屋ののれんを出し、提灯に明かりを灯す。
客が来るかって？それが結構来るんだよ。
結構来るんだよ。
柱時計が夜中の12時を打つ。深夜食堂第1話、タンメン。飯屋の厨房。中華鍋で豚バラ肉を炒め、刻んでおいた野菜を手際よく加える。最後にキャベツやもやし、ニラを入れ、さらに炒めてスープを注ぎ込むと、別の鍋で生麺が茹で上がる。
うちでラーメンといえばインスタントだけど、タンメンは生麺を使ってるんだ。その方がタンメンに合うからね。
この字のカウンターに島田とルミ。
島田とルミ。
夜中のラーメンは罪悪感があるけど、タンメンなら野菜が取れていいよね。
また始まった。そんな言い訳するくらいなら食べなきゃいいのに。
人生と同じ。人はそんな簡単に割り切れない。
気をつけろ。その一口が豚になる。
一瞬箸が止まる。
島田さん。ラジオ局のアナウンサーなんだけど、健康診断で医者から隠れ肥満の宣告を受けたらしい。
隠れ肥満。隠れ肥満。隠れ肥満の宣告。
医者から隠れ肥満の宣告を受けたらしい。
Yeah, I had to look that up yesterday, so I didn't know it. Well, I mean, I knew you could tell by looking at the kanji what it means, but pronunciation of it, I didn't know.
いらっしゃい。
いらっしゃい。
どうも。
タクシー会社の制服を着た木内晴美。ルミに軽く会釈して座る。
タンメン、麺抜きね。
麺抜きね。
はいよ。
はいよ。
怪訝な顔をする島田とルミ。
はい、お待ち。麺抜き。
いただきます。
晴美は礼儀正しく手を合わせ、嬉しそうに食べ始める。
よしね、手を合わせに嬉しそうです。I like the, maybe it is, I think that's not Texas speech. I don't think that's Texas speech. If it is, that's a really good Texas speech.
そんなのありですか？
夜中に炭水化物食べると。
炭水化物食べる。
あれだった。それに野菜食べてるうちに麺がスープ吸ってどんどん増えちゃうでしょ。
確かに理にはかなってるけど。
マスター。
確かに理にはかなってるけど。
理に。かな Oh, gotcha.
確かに理にはかなってるけど。
理にはかなっているけど。
マスター、お茶漬けやめて。今日の締めは私もタンメン麺抜きで。
だよ。
I don't know. It's like telling a guy to stop it. I mean, how much of the? Well, I mean, ochazuke is not a complicated meal. So
仕事終わりですか。
朝までもう一稼ぎしないと。
すごいな。私方向音痴だからな。
方向音痴。確かに方向音痴。
私方向音痴だからな。
Well, that's why we got Google Maps now. 方向音痴。And of course, back before Google Maps, he did have like a very detailed book map of the city. I mean, down to the each of the individual houses.
やっぱりナビ使うんですよね。
都内の道は基本頭に入ってるから。
麺抜きね。
島田さん。
Yeah, I mean, what you do is like when you first start off, obviously you're going to have to refer to navigate. But then after you do it a while, I mean, instead of doing the annoying thing of trying to look it up, it's like you just memorize it. It's just a little easier.
やたら感心してると思ったら。
田端の魔女さん。私も田端の魔女さん。
Tabata. Oh. Tabata no majo san.
私もいろんな方法を試しました。リンゴダイエットなんてのもやりまし
Apple
た
diet.
が、あれじゃあお腹膨れませんよ。仕方ないからアップルパイでいいやって食べ続けてたら余
That's a lot of sugar.
計デブになっちゃいまして、それもお腹だけ。
Can't see that.
アップルパイでいいやって食べ続けてたら余計デブになっちゃいまして、それもお腹だけ。
ラジオ局のブース。
ところで蕎麦屋で抜きといえば天ぷらそばのそば抜きで、これで一杯やってる方を見ると、
Tempura soba, I mean, then that's just tempura. I mean, am I understanding that correct? Like soba nuki, isn't that like you don't include the soba? Maybe I'm misunderstanding this.
通だね。
Unless he's doing hot soba, like tempura soba soup, then you take out the soba. Okay, that might make sense.
通だねなんて思ったりしますが、最近行きつけの店でタンメンの麺抜き注文してる方がいらっしゃったんですよ。タンメンの麺抜きってこれよく考えたら具の多い野菜スープなんですけど、これなら体重を気にしている方にもいいんじゃないかと思いまして。
へえ、
今度
変わった食い物頼む人がいるんだね。
そうですね。
運転中の晴美、飯屋常連の忠さんと小道。
有名なあれ、ここのことだったのかい？
Something like Yunbe. Let's see.
そうなの。
有名なあれ、ここのことだったのかい？
そうなの。島田さんのラジオ番組。そしたら麺抜きの話してて、麺抜きってはるみさんのこと？
ああ、そ
誰なんですその女性って。
う。ほら、タクシーの運転手やってる。
あ、
Yeah, and if you remember the movies, she was the taxi driver that realized that the older lady was actually being scammed by somebody.
豊島のいい女。
What? Toshima, like older lady, I assume, but Sugitas. That's kind of probably a rude way of referring to a lady, a middle-aged woman. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Toshima. Toshima no ii onna. Okay.
豊島っていかほど。
豊島のいい女。
豊島っていかほど。
40半ばおるじゃないかな。
もう全 全然 OK です。いや、むしろ熟女としてはまだ未熟かも。
熟女。Ah, okay. Okay. Toshima Jukujo. I gotta be very careful. Don't randomly use words like this. Careful about using just because it's in there. Like, yeah. I've always had to tell, like my wife always like when I say about a word to me, it's like, okay, look, I'm not wanting to learn it to say it. I just want to learn it so I understand what it means when I hear it again. That's all, you know.
新陳代謝が、いや、むしろ熟女としてはまだ未熟かも。新
Mijuku.
陳代謝が限りなくスローな女性ってそそるんです。
新陳代謝。新陳代謝。新しいものが古いものにとって変わること。Replace the old with the new? New with the old? I mean, sorry, the old with the new? 新陳代謝。Renewal regeneration. 新陳代謝。OK. 新陳代謝。
新陳代謝が限りなくスローな女性ってそそるんですよね。新陳代謝が限りなくスローな女性ってそそるんですよね。性的リビドーがこうギンギンきます。
性的libido? Libido? Oh, libido. There we go. Libido. So, sexual libido. I'm assuming this way. So. Okay. So, 性的libido. Oh, gingi. Gingi. Shh. Okay.
性的リビドーがこうギンギンきます。
長生きするよお前は。マスター、俺もタンメンの麺抜きで。
僕もお願いします。
あいよ。
あいよ。
いいですか、スローな感じ。
カメラを向ける。
はい。
しろ。
もう一枚お願いします。
うるさいよ。
And you kind of miss out on it because if you're not watching the video, I'm sure it's like I'm probably missing out on the customer's reactions to like whatever somebody is saying, because I can usually tell you if what they're saying is something rude or is it something or maybe something that's okay normally accepted in conversation. But then again, remember this is also a night cafe where again the conversation is not as formal. Even among people.
それから2週間後のことだった。
それから2週間後。
タンメン麺抜きのスープを飲み干す晴美のそばに島田。
やっぱりあれ私のことだったんだ。
すいません、勝手に話のネタに使っちゃって。でもあなたがとても美味しそうに召し上がってらしたから。
昔のことを思い出しちゃった。電話でラジオにリクエストして名前呼ばれたことがあったから。
電力世代ですね。
あ、年バレ。
電力。フォンリクエスト。OK。電話リクエスト。電力世代ですね。
電力。
名前呼ばれたことがあったから。
電力世代ですね。
あ、年バレちゃうな。目指してたんですか DJ？
憧れてたんです。深夜放送の DJ に。つまんないことで悩んだり落ち込んでやりきれない時、ああ一人ぼっちじゃないんだって。
わかるな、その感じ。あ、
晴美の携帯が鳴る。
はい。わかりました。すぐ近くにいますので、5分ほどしたらお迎えに上がります。いつものところで待ってます。じゃあ、後ほど。
じゃあ、後ほど。
お得意様ですか。
レギュラーいると助かるのよ。今日みたいに流してもお客さんがいないときに。マスター、お勘定。ごちそうさま。
ありがとうね。
島田に一礼して出ていく晴美。
どっかであったような気がするんだよな。
後日ブロマイドを見せる。
ね、似てるでしょ。
絶対間違いないですよ。紅の楓。
Kurenai. So rainbow or red? Crimson. That's right. Kurenai. That's crimson. Kurenai. I don't think I've heard it pronounced that way. There's also Konido, like deep blue or navy blue. Kurenai. Kurenai no. And was that Tsubaki? Kaede. Wait, what was Tsubaki? I'm forgetting. I forgot which one. It's a tree, so yeah. But it's also, yeah, it's a female name, but it's a, okay, yeah, maple tree. Why was I thinking Tsubaki?
Oh. 絶対間違いないですよ。紅の楓。
紅の楓。
確かに似てるけど、これなんだい？
紅の楓じゃないですか。あの伝説の忍者戦隊甲賀の。
Ninja Warrior Cougar. Ninja Warrior Cougars. I know it's a play on either Voltron or the Power Rangers. Cougar.
知ってっか？いや戦隊もんってたくさんあったんで、もうどれがどれだか。
中さんと小道に説明する。
漆黒のムササビ。
Musasabi. Well, I mean, that's lacquered black. I mean, what, liquid black? Shikoku, pitch black. There we go. Shikoku. Musasabi. Okay. Musasabi. Okay. Giant flying squirrel. Sure. Musasabi. Look at that kanji. It's like a variant of mouse and mouse. But the mouse, it's not complicated to... That is not a complicated kanji. As long as you got mouse down, which isn't difficult. I mean, it's actually a fairly simple kanji. It's not common, but it's, yeah, and then that's just a variant of that. So musasabi, that's one of those, like, you can say, oh yeah, I can write musasabi, you know, but because it's the trick to memorizing it isn't that difficult. Just remember go. I am a squirrel. Just say I am a squirrel. I am a mouse. I am a squirrel, or something. I don't know. I'm a squirrel mouse. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
漆黒のムササビ。
漆黒のムササビ。
群青の颯。
群青。I assume that's navy blue. Sky blue? 群青? Because it looks sky blue. Hayate? Ultramarine. Okay. Sea blue. Marine blue. 群青のhayate. Hayate. Guess it's the wind. 群青のhayate.
萌木。群青の颯。萌木の米蔵。
Moyagi. That's yellow or something. Doesn't look. Moyagi. Light yellowish green. Guess he's a... Okay. Rice green. Komegura.
代々。萌木の米蔵。代々の助け。
Dai. Actually, I don't know that kanji. Bitter orange. Actually, I have learned that kanji, but it was like a long time ago, I think. Actually, I may not even have learned it because there's no Hasek numbers for it. Bitter orange. I mean, again, it's not a complicated kanji, but okay. And then Tasuke.
代
説明する。
漆黒のムササビ。群青の颯。萌木の米蔵。代々の助け。紅の楓。5人の忍びが揃うとき、誰にも知られず悪をた5人の忍びが揃うとき、誰にも知られず悪をた
ポーズを取る島田。
子供の時に楓さんにファンレターを送ったんですよ。 そしたらこのブロマイドが届いたんですよ。
ブロマイド。ブロマイド。I mean, yeah, it sounds like that's what it is, but それただこのブライド。Don't think that's it. There we go. Stills. I would not have known that. I'll be honest, I didn't know that word, bromide. I was saying it sounds like a chemical, not a picture. Bromide. I would not have guessed that. そしたらこのブロマイド届いたんです。
そしたらこのブロマイドが届いたんですよ。
ブロマイド。
覚えてるかな、僕のこと。
ラジオ局。
中年ライダーさん、いくつになっても恋したっていいじゃないですか。ただストーカーはダメですよ。相手の気持ちを思いやんないと。恋といえば僕最近初恋の女性にたまたまある場所で再会したんですよ。
タクシーの車内。
再会って言っても僕の片思いで、向こうは全く僕のことなんか知らないんですけどね。
One way of thinking. Okay, one sided love. Okay. 片思い。
再会って言っても僕の片思いで、向こうは全く僕のことなんか知らないんですけどね。ご存知のリスナーの方もいると思うんですが、僕が子供の頃、忍者戦隊甲賀って戦隊ものがありまして、そのメンバーの一人、紅の楓さんが僕の初恋の人だったんです。楓さんだって分かった瞬間、僕の頭にこの曲が流れました。忍者戦隊甲賀の主題歌、刃の心で駆け。
主題歌。So that's the main theme song? Yeah. 主題歌。
忍者戦隊甲賀の主題歌、刃の心で駆け。
刃の心で
抜けろです。
駆け抜けろです。刃の心。
忍者戦隊甲賀の主題歌、刃の心で駆け抜けろです。
ラジオを切る晴美。
She okay? Oh, okay. I guess she's having a very bad, kind of reacting bad to the memories.
はあ、懐かしいな。甲賀のファンクラブ作るんですか？
ええ。まずは様子見で番組の方。
様子見で。
まずは様子見で番組のホームページで発表したんです。そしたら反響がすごくて。
僕が一番好きだったのは、抜け人だった楓をリーダーのムササビが迎え入れる。
失礼。
僕が一番好きだったのは、抜け人だった楓を
抜け人？
抜け人だった楓をリーダーのムササビが迎え入れる。
失礼ば花の会ですね。
そう。ムササビが言うじゃないですか。俺たちがお前を守る。だから逃げずに戦えって。子供ながらにグッときた。
わかるな。
助けと。
I've seen this episode, so I know why this is funny.
男って。
小鈴とこうちゃん。
お待たせ。ジャンボ豚汁定食。
こうちゃん。Oh, that's the person's name. Okay.
はい。いただきます。
こうちゃんが食べる。
あんたたち盛り上がるのはいいけど、少しはその人の気持ち思いやったらどうなの？ねえマスター。
まあね、いろいろあって今があるんだろうからね。
それも含めて僕は自分の番組に出てもらおうと思ってます。あの人きちんと仕事している人なんだろうなってここで会って感じたんです。勘だけど。だから自分の過去も笑って話せるんじゃないかって。
そうですよ。とっくに吹っ切ってますよ。今じゃタクシー。そうですよ。とっくに吹っ切ってますよ。 今じゃタクシードライバーで頑張ってんだから、きっといい思い出ですよ。
下り顔の金本と島田。
あなたにはいい思い出でも私にはそうじゃない。
後部座席に島田。
もともと好きでやった役じゃないし、あのあと何をやっても甲賀の楓って言われた。それが嫌で役者辞めたようなもんなのに。
そうだったんですか。
いろいろあって今の生活があるわけだし、面白おかしく騒ぎ立てられるのは。
そういうつもりじゃ。いや、結果そうですよね。すいませんでした。
And well, I mean, but again, at another way, but you got to understand, like, there's for her, it was like a lot of behind the scenes is probably uncomfortable, or even worse than that. And but also at the time, though, again, whatever she helped make did bring joy to kids at that time. And you know you can't blame them for, because again, when you're a kid, you know, a TV show that could last a season is like 30 months to a kid is like an eternity. And so in that eternity, they experience this thing that brought joy to them. So it embeds itself into them that this is a joyful memory. So when they think back on it, they think about all the happy times that this show has brought them. So you can understand that. I mean, and it's a little going to be different when this generation grows up. And I'm not playing the old fuddy-duddy here. I'm saying, like, when this generation grows up, there's not going to be probably a common shared media experience, where, because again, we have internet and like probably thousands of channels now, I think, and then there's YouTube, where you can have and your entire life could be consuming media that someone else has never even heard of. And so you don't have that shared experience that could happen with children who would grow up in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, where the number of channels to watch was super limited. And so when you talk about something you experienced as a childhood, it's probably the other person you talk to experienced it as well. Maybe the extent of it was different, but there was an experience there. Whereas now, I'm sure there are the shows that have gone and people have enjoyed and watched and love that another child in the same country has just not seen yet. They're watching something else. And so when they grow up and become adults, they're going to have, like, essentially, there's not going to be much experience that can help connect the two together. Like you saw what happened with those two gentlemen at the counter. Like, they were connected in a way through their remembering their enjoyment of a story from when they were kids. And that's neither good nor bad, but it's just going to be a different thing when people grow up. Like, yeah, it's like for me, I've never really watched Pokemon, so I can't really connect to that experience when people talk about Pokemon, either watching the cartoons or enjoying the video games. And then whatever else shows that have been coming out of late, there's not going to be that connection. It's just the nature of the system, unfortunately, but it's something to be aware of.
硬い表情でハンドルを握る晴美。飯や私服姿の晴美がビールを飲む。
マスター、おかわり。
珍しいね。うちで飲むなんて。
うん。島田さん来てる？
そういや、ここんとこ顔出さないな。
私ね、ようやく誰にでも胸張って言えるくらい今の仕事気に入ってるの。
島田さんもそう言ってたよ。晴美さんはきちんと仕事してるって。
そう。マスター、麺抜き。
はいよ。
あの頃私が一番芝居も下手くそだったのに、それ認めたくなくて、他の人をけなして周りに八つ当たりして、ほんと最低だった。 でもそんな私のことリーダーはいつもかばってくれたんだ。
リーダーの人なんて言ったっけ？
ムササビ。
ああ、そうだった。ムササビっていい男だったんだ。
うん。好きだった。でもね。
回想。
おはようございます。
衣装部屋に入る晴美。
あの時いつもより早めにスタジオ来たら
ムササビの戦闘服が床に脱ぎ捨てられている。服を拾い上げていく晴美。奥の鏡の前に隠れるようにうずくまっているリーダー。
いや俺
晴美の戦闘服を着ている。
ごめん。
Yeah, that part's creepy, like wearing somebody else's clothing.
ラーメン屋のカウンター。
きょんさん。俺おごるから。
いいよ。無理しなくて。
Okay. So they're laughing about it. Okay, that's good. That's good.
ムササビ本当は女の子になりたかったって私にだけ話してくれたの。
Yeah. So, yeah, that part. The creep part was again, it was somebody else's uniform. That was the only. But maybe it's the only way he felt safe. Like, you know, he couldn't buy one for himself, so he felt safer. Maybe at an early time, just dressing like something person he wanted to become.
おかげで恋人にはなり損ねたけど、私はかけがえのない友達を手に入れた。
That's good. So became a friend.
はい。
マスターがタンメン麺抜きを出す。
二人ともお金なかったから飲むときはこれをつまみ代わりにしてたんだ。ラジオで話題になって昔のファンがムササビのことを調べたりしたら嫌だなって。ずっと守ってもらってたから今度は私が守んなきゃって。でも余計なお世話だったみたい。
ムササビに聞いたのかい？
あんたの人生はあんたのもので私の人生は私のものなの。お互い違う道歩いてるんだからそれでいいじゃないって。
で
We walk different roads together.
その彼。
That's kind of a that's kind
今
of a
はどう
nice
してん
thing.
だい？
Yeah.
数日後。
A few nights later.
迷惑かけたのは僕の方なのに。なんで？
彼女も少し言い過ぎたからちゃんと謝りたいって。
Ah.
こんばんは。
いらっしゃい。
制服姿の晴美と一緒に常連のこうちゃんも来る。島田を挟んで座る二人。
Shimado a Sunday. So like a Sunday, like so you can hear like there, it's like by hearing it again, the description they're describing like, oh, okay, so you're gonna sound either side person a Sunday. Okay, you may not have heard it used in that way, but you probably be if you were reading a lot, you would probably read it that way. It would be really nice, by the way, if somehow, some way, Netflix released or made it where there was the subtitles. In fact, sometimes maybe they did, and I just didn't see it. Like there's Japanese. Yeah, they don't have the Japanese for the like if they had the subtitles for the additional audio, that would be awesome. That would be really awesome. But yeah, it's not the case here. And obviously they could make the subtitles. They obviously have the transcript that was used for the narrator, so just utilize that to recreate the subs.
この度はあなたの気持ちも考えず 軽率で身勝手な行動をしてしまい。
軽率。I know that's like a weak ratio. Let's see. Without thinking well. Okay. Did something without thinking. There we go. Okay. Rash is careless. 軽率。軽率で。
軽率で身勝手な行動をしてしまい。
俺たちがお前を守る。だから逃げずに戦え。
戦え。戦え。People watching Attack on Titan get the joke.
はるみ、私が全部自分で説明するから。いいわね。
どうぞご自由に。食べたら私帰るから。
あら、付き合い悪い女。
おせっかいおばさんやめたの。
見覚えないかな。
こうちゃんがポーズを決める。
紅の楓。紅の楓。ムササビ？ムササビ。
Again, flying squirrel, so it's not too difficult. It's like, think like you're doing mouse, but do the go, 5 in mouth, and then do the mouse again. And what's funny is, again, this character has been in all the seasons, but usually it was an unnamed character, always hanging out with where I forget her name, but yeah. Also.
ラジオ局。
じゃよろしくお願いします。生放送なんでお手柔らかに。まもなく CM 開けます。SS しまちゃん、ドーン。
今夜も始まりましたミッドナイトしまちゃん。なんと今日は特別ゲストをお招きしました。というかこちらは気を使ってご遠慮してたんですが。
ご無沙汰忍者戦隊甲賀のリーダー漆黒のムササビよ。
漆黒のムササビよ。
みんな忍者戦隊甲賀のリーダー漆黒のムササビよ。みんな覚えててくれてすっごく嬉しい。
投げキッスを振りまくこうちゃん。
今日は私一人しかいないけどいつもの行くわよ。5人の忍びが揃うとき誰にも知られずあこた。5つの鐘が鳴ったとき悪の響きも聞き収め。
聞き収め。
5つの鐘が鳴ったとき悪の響きも聞き収め。甲賀はどこでも長谷参上。
汗。That's kind of cute. Is it Zayaku? Zenaku. Let me make sure about that. Good and bad. Not good and bad, but like yeah, good and evil. There we go. Okay. Zenaku. Yigan. The cliffs. Hmm.
缶コーヒーを飲みながら路肩でラジオを聞くはるみ。
あっという間に時間が過ぎてしまいました。ムササビさん、お別れの前に大切な友人にメッセージを送りたいとか。
公共の電波使って じゃあ私は今の自分も昔の自分も大好き。人に何言われようが私は私。昔よりちょっとずうずうしくなったかもしれないけど、でも気にかけてくれて。
気にかけてくる？気にかける？
でも気にかけてくれてありがとね。本当にありがと
う。泣きながら笑っている春美。
泣きながら笑っている春美。
また来てくださいね、ムササビさん。それではまた来週。おやすみなさい。
So I should be going to the last part.
慌てて涙を拭い笑顔でドアを開ける。
Why is that missing? Sorry.
慌てて涙を拭い笑顔でドアを開ける。
すいません、気づかなくて。どちらまでご利用ですか？
おまけコーナー。麺の上に炒めた野菜とスープを盛り付けるマスター。忍者戦隊甲賀の5人が戦闘服姿でタンメンを食べている。アルミとコウちゃんは麺抜き。
Right, so who's the guy in white? Is that the Shimada?
もう一人白い戦闘服を着た島田が入ってきて席に着く。
Yep, okay.
島田の前にもタンメン。
6人目の忍び、純白の島ちゃんです。
Pure white, Junpaku. Yep. Junpaku の。
6人目の忍び、純白の島ちゃんです。僕のおすすめはやっぱり麺入りです。
新入りさん、こそこそしない。
かしこまり。
それでは皆さん、
おやすみなさい。
全員笑顔で手を振る。
See if There we go. Alrighty. So now the time is 53. So I started about 10 minutes in. So yeah, so I took about 45 minutes. And again, I wasn't like, if this would have been a lot faster in the previous episodes, it would have went faster because I would skip over a lot of the parts that there was no dialogue. But because this is Netflix and they do have audio descriptions, Japanese audio descriptions. I got the listening on that. It might work against me a little bit as far as copyright is concerned, because again, I'm not like pausing a lot. Usually I'll skip over. The reason with also skipping is you'll skip over the songs as well, which generates copyright hits when I upload these to YouTube. But that's a minor thing. Usually when they get hit, it's just okay, it either gets demonetized, which is no big deal, or it gets shared monetization, which again, no big deal. So it's fine. As long as it's not blocked, I don't care. Have at it. But I did enjoy this. So I was a little worried. I was thinking maybe this won't be as good as I thought, but worked out quite well. Now, because there's no subtitles for the audio descriptions, that means that if I don't quite understand or hear something, then I can't go back and replay it. I'm not gonna, I could go here and like skip back 10 seconds, but I'm not gonna bother with that. For the most part, it's just a nicety, not a necessity. Because again, it is called, like you say, it says let's read Japanese, not let's listen to Japanese. But part of the let's read to Japanese is to read along with the audio. So listening is going to be a part of this. And again, I like that this video allows for it. There's another series I'm going to be doing as well that's going to have audio descriptions, so I look forward to that. And there are quite a few other shows, anime. Most of them are animated, but they have also a few other shows with audio descriptions. The ones for Netflix, Terrace House, that's the audio description there is not good because it is basically it's the people who are watching the Terrace House, the people on the couch. You basically hear them talking, and it's just really it's an annoying mess. I actually found it like not entertaining at all, and I'd rather just watch what's happening in the house. In fact, if they didn't have the whole couch shit on Netflix on a Terrace House, I would be happier anyway. I don't really need to have people there telling me what I just saw, how I should feel about what I just saw. I already watched it. There is some benefits a little bit though. I think Matt versus Japan went over it when it dealt with Terrace House, in that when you're seeing people on the couch and they're discussing it, maybe they're saying it from a native Japanese point of view, and that what they're getting from what they saw happen is different than what someone from the U.S. might have experienced from what they're thinking and feeling with what they're seeing. So there is some benefit to that. So I look forward to doing that when I get to doing Terrace House, because I think the first 1 or 2 seasons, there's no couch discussions from celebrities or talents, but from talents. But season 3 and 4 and beyond, they do start doing that, and I'm kind of interested in what the experience is going to be like. So I'll look forward to that. That's sometime in the future, quite a few weeks into the future, before I get to that point. As far as this episode, I had seen this before, so I knew kind of where the story was going. It seems like a positive. Yeah, she had some negative experiences, but for him, you would think he would maybe have had a negative experience because he essentially was going through a transition of sorts. Trying to deal with his how he views himself. But again, he seems happy and he's comfortable with who he is, both who he is and who he was. He no regrets for that. For her, she had like trying to say she wasn't a very good actor, and that they were basically teasing her, making fun of her, except for he was the only one that was kind of basically protected her from that. And so, but when she found out, inadvertently found out that he's not necessarily actually cross-dressing, he actually wanted maybe doing transition, so not transvestite but more transsexual, then, and in a way they, instead of it being like a senpai kohai, it actually came more like friends, and that seemed to work. And again, it lasted through the years because again, they knew each other. And the radio guy, Shimada, you can understand, and they already discussed that. I mean, it's hard to say, like, you're not thinking about the drama behind the scenes. You're trying to, like, when you're trying to enjoy a show, is that maybe it's best like you don't know about the drama, because something, now they do it like it's been doing it like they kind of make it like an advertisement of sorts, but then it's like you're not watching the character, you're watching the actor, if that's the reason, and it kind of in my opinion, it might take you out of the enjoyment of the story. But you could be aware, because maybe it could be like, hey, you know what, this person, I've seen it, like, I think trying to think, like, the good example would be like Harvey Weinstein. It's hard to watch any movie that he's produced now, because you realize like how much evil he infected. He put on the people that had to take part in those, both before and after, and the evil he did on people who wouldn't submit to what he wanted. Like Ashley Judd. What happened to her, and it was directly responsible because she refused to submit to him. I mean, and, how we were, as through entertainment media, how we were basically denied which she had to offer and could still offer, and because of this filth like that. So I'm assuming like you have those equivalents in Japanese media as well. Like maybe it wasn't necessarily the abuse that her characters was supposedly experienced, but it can tarnish what could be, as for me, as something that I enjoyed. Now it's like, really, do I want to enjoy it? It's like it's complicated, because you could say, well, I'm going to enjoy the movie for what it is, and try not to let it be tarred by the fact that a person who wrote it was a piece of crap, or the person who directed it ended up being a piece of crap, or maybe something bad was happening in the behind the scenes that don't make it out, don't show on the screen. I don't know, but it's complicated. So, but yeah, it will be. I'm pretty sure there will be times I'll still enjoy movies that were produced by evil people, because the movies themselves are not evil. And hopefully, you learn, punish those for what they are, punish them, and hopefully try and make sure stuff like that does not happen again, or gets punished if it does. There's that. All right, and again, this is not related, kind of related to the story, because again, it's like she has bad memories, so you can say that it's very complicated. But you have a guy who has very good memories of the show, and now do you really want to feel bad? In a way, it's like you shouldn't feel bad for that, because as a kid you enjoyed it, and it's hard that you don't want to, again, those pleasant memories shouldn't be like, they can't disappear. I mean, they're a part of you, and you can still be respectful of the fact that she doesn't want to talk about it. That part you got to be respectful of. All right, but as a person, you can enjoy it, but maybe don't talk about her. You can still talk about the TV show, but maybe don't mention it in respect to the fact of the person you just met. Maybe that would have been better. But again, how does he talk about it when the only reason he recalled it, and he got all these pleasant memories that came back to him, was because he realized that this is a person who was involved in something that was very pleasant, a pleasant memory for him. Yeah, it makes for a good drama. By the way, this makes for very good drama, and it did have a happy ending, so all's well that ends well. Okay, I'll end it there. Thank you. Got about 4 viewers. Hey guys. So again, this is a new season. When I put this up on YouTube, I'm gonna set it as a premiere. That just means it just has a bit more. It's saying, hey, this is gonna show up because it's the start of a new season. I'll do that. Start some new episodes or the midpoints of longer seasons or new seasons. I'll set as premieres on YouTube. Nothing special beyond that. Yeah. And I thought, again, it's a good success. I'm going to continue doing it where I use the audio description. Let me know in the comments, by the way, what do you think of watching this with the audio descriptions turned on? How does that feel? I mean, there's no text for it. So if you don't understand Japanese, you're really not going to understand it then. But yeah, tell me what you think. I'm kind of interested. And beyond that, we got 10 episodes of this and then another 10 episodes later on. In between, I'm going to do Black Leather Notebook. Which is the older drama, not the more recent one that was made. But, well, actually, it's been made like a few times. So the one that was made in the early 2000s. How's that? That drama. And it's 7 episodes, but I'm going to be doing over 14 videos. There's that. Then after season 5 of Shinya Shokudo, I'm not going to say the name of it, but I am going to be doing a Japanese drama. It does have audio description. It's not The Naked Director. I will not do that one. It is a funny drama, but I'm not going to do that on Twitch or YouTube. Okay, so thank you all very much. Thank you for watching. And with that, for those of you on YouTube, if you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. If you enjoy the series, like to see more, subscribe to the channel. If you appreciate what I'm doing to help the Japanese language learning community, then you can support that via the Patreon, links in the description, as well as links to the website, community, Discord. Finally, if you'd like to hire me on commission, or may like to one-on-one to help walk you through the steps, help set up your system to learn Japanese, utilizing the resources I talk about, the hourly rates and the payments are done via the Patreon. So the specific link for that in the description. For those of you on Twitch, hopefully I can go do another video today. And for those of you on YouTube, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you all very much, and later, guys.